to the podcast, killing everybody, taking dog tags. Dog, this is awesome. It's Optimus Prime and your quadrant and talking to you. Got that? I was in a mind when I crafted this. The Dungeon Master's wrath with a dash of sick. I dash like Sonic Mad, not a pacifist, but pacifist the tracks when I'm rapping, kids. We the last of us. The master race, take him with a master hand. It's cancerous. I hit him with the master sword, and sure I make an eyesore, but I wonder how 4 guys make a Triforce.
Hey guys, welcome to Trinity Force Podcast. You're listening to episode number 151 with Twitch and DeClaude.
Yeah, what the hell was Twitch doing there?
She's just being cute.
Just being cute.
Actually, I should name her that. That'd be good.
Better than Ratty or whatever.
Lady, it's Lady.
Yeah,
Oh.
it really should have been
Kayla
Twitch.
wears the pants in this relationship, so I'll talk to her about renaming her Twitch.
I'm really upset that it's not named Twitch.
Yeah.
Wow. While we were sitting here, I'm going to make sure that my audio is set correctly on the screen. Okay, everyone can hear me. Thanks, guys, for joining us for this week's live podcast. Do remember, we go live every Monday and Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. You guys can catch us in all our glory, see our mugs, see Twitch on screen, which is Cheers Rat.
Yep.
Let's see Twitch on Twitch.
You know what?
See Twitch on Twitch.
I should have everybody tweet Kayla, name the rat Twitch.
You should do it. What is it, K-Strader?
We named it
Yeah,
Twitch.
I think it's Hawkstrader. I don't remember.
It's what?
Hawkstrader.
What?
Hawkstrider from WoW. Get it? Hold on. Let me.
Hold on, guys.
Oh, her Twitter. I thought you said that was the rat's name.
Oh, Twitter.
No, we're going to figure out what his girlfriend's Twitter name is. I do believe it's K-Strader.
It's K-Strader. K-Strader with the
underscore.
Yeah, the underscore.
So K-Strader, S-T-R-A-D-E-R underscore. If you guys are listening to this on the road, you listen to this live, please tweet at K-Strader underscore and say, please name the rat Twitch.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yes, we want to
So
rename
good.
this rat right now.
And he eats watermelon.
Yeah, she loves watermelon. I ran out of watermelon, or I'd show you. I could probably go get a strawberry, but
Nah.
she's gonna.
Do whatever.
She's just running around everywhere. It's terrible.
right
Let's
now-
talk about League, though.
Well, I was getting there. Well, we are
Yeah.
kind of. So this podcast will come out on Friday, so if you're listening to the MP3, you might be at PAX walking around, listening to us talk about it. Don't forget to find Mott Gorham if he's there. He does have buttons for you. If you listen to this after the fact and you didn't go to PAX, sorry about your luck. You missed out on awesome buttons and t-shirts, and you could have gotten them had you gone. So,
Oh, well.
guys...
Well, he'll take pictures, though, right?
Oh, there'll be plenty of pictures. I told him to take
Good.
a picture with a Moobeat and the beard. And
Nice.
do the rubbing beard face. So, guys, I did break down today and finally make a Facebook page for the T-Force Podcast. It's at facebook.com/T-Force Podcast. If you're not following us on Twitter or don't have a Twitter, you can now get updates from Facebook for the LCS, OzLOL, and Trinity Force proper. Of course,
Yeah,
don't forget go ahead.
I don't like Facebook, but I liked that page. So, even if you don't like Facebook,
Subtle.
go in there and like the page.
Very, very subtle.
Well, that's how the verbiage they use. You like it.
The
You do
subtle
like it. I liked it
trolling
better
is
when
the
you
best trolling.
I liked it better when you became a fan.
Yeah.
Because there's that
Really?
old picture where the person is a fan. Like, it's just become a fan. They
God.
click it. It could be they become a fan. Yeah, it's funny. So, yeah, guys, go to TrinityForcePodcast.com right now. Go check out the Trinity Force Hub. You guys can go find OzLOL, our Aussie brothers. You can find the T-Force LCS Rundown, which is with Optimus Tom, Montnagorum, Serial Box, and Greg Russo, or G. Russo. And you'll also find T-Force proper on there. It's a list, and it gets updated every time we post a new podcast. You can find all 3 of them and all the links and yada, yada. It's a fantastic website. We want you guys to check it out and give us your feedback on how it looks. So, other than that, we do have... So, you know what? We had a donation come in this week. Where is the email now?
It was an amazing donation.
Do we have the email?
Aren't they
here?
all amazing, though?
They are.
Here it is. No, wait. Hold on. I wasn't prepared. I thought it was in the document. Dom didn't update the document for me.
What a jerk.
But
Didn't even do his job.
I got the email.
There it is. I found it. All right. So, Chris sent us a $100 donation to help us get the podcast microphones for the T-Force LCS Rundown. So thank you so much, Chris, for donating that very generous donation to the podcast. So we'll give you a quick round of applause.
Definitely. That's our new guy on the LCS Rundown. That's his mic right there.
Yep, Mitchell just got
And
his
some
today.
left over.
Chris
Nice.
did add to the note that, thanks for the great podcast. I hope this helps get everyone set up with the microphones and whatnot. Cheers. I emailed him after the fact and talked to him a little bit. Everybody who sends me a donation, I try to email back and say, thank you so much. This is what it's going to go toward, and I emailed him personally and offered up, some extra, like little extra services like, hey, I'll watch you play some games or I'll play with you because it was such a big donation. And he said, as much as I love that, really, I just like you guys so much and I'm on the road so often that you guys just provide so many hours of entertainment that I had to help the podcast. So we appreciate that.
That's awesome. We appreciate that, Chris. Thank you.
That's right.
And hope we can maintain our end of it, keep entertaining you. So I'll keep bugging with puns here and there, interrupting.
Yeah, we're gonna need a couple Kazakhs. Bug.
Yep.
Oh God.
Yep. That was a valiant effort.
I got no God for the Claude. Yes.
I can't even. Period.
God, that made my night.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna Kazakhs you. I get it now. Yeah, bug. Yeah, there it is. We'll explain. Oh, you're dead. I'm gonna hit you with one.
Oh my God.
You won't know where. You won't know when.
Is it gonna be a bug splat?
I'm gonna get you.
I'll whip out the raid.
Nope.
I got a goddamn it at him too, so that was worth it.
God damn it, Adam.
All right,
I think that's one ever.
Yeah, that's pretty much
History
like
of
the only
this
one
show.
that'll
And
ever
the only
happen.
one.
Yeah.
I did a good one earlier about I can't stomach his shtick or shtick his stomach. I can't remember what the hell I said now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say.
No,
it.
I got shtick to my
Don't get
stomach. I got shtick to my stomach. That's what I said.
It should have been shtick to my stomach.
Stomach. Yes, we don't have Dom to do the long blink.
Learn the art. You got it. Can't do it as well as Dom, but
All right, guys. So you guys write us in, or you guys write, email, send carrier pigeons, flags, whatever the hell you guys want to talk about. You get us questions
call us,
to
leave
answer.
voicemails.
It's voicemails. There's actually some people left us voicemails, and I haven't even gotten to them because we have so many questions and stuff.
Wow.
Unfortunately,
We're starting to build up again.
We're starting to build up, so we're going to spend... We had talked on Monday about doing more 4.5 discussion, and I have stuff in there about runes and whatnot. Actually, I think
Kind of covered runes.
I think I'm going to touch on that real quick, just as a follow-up. So there has been math done. Freak did the math on the runes, and if you're wondering what kind of runes to run now, out of the solo lanes, and even to an extent in the bottom lane, you can do this. Right now, that scaling HP is better after level 3 versus physical damage champions until about level 14 or 15. So that's better than armor seals. So normally you would get the 9 armor. Now you'll get plus 208 health at level 18 if you take all scaling seals. And this is also, so more or less like, you should definitely be running against magic resist champions that have magic resist. You should definitely be running health per level or do magic damage. You should be running magic resist glyphs and health per level seals. And in the top lane, there's a lot of magic damage up there, and it's almost better to either run. It's almost better if you don't think you're going to die before level 3 to run those flat the scaling. I get so confused when I'm talking about this.
There's a lot of runes to choose from.
But yes, scaling health runes, doing the math. Actually, the effective health that you gain is better than the armor because it soaks up more damage. With that said, marksman should also be running 2 to 3 attack speed quints now over the raw damage because it'll break you even past 1 and allow you to do more damage. Actually, I started doing some of the math on like armor pen marks, and if you roll into lane with armor pen marks, you do true damage at level 1, but then it immediately drops off at level 2 to AD marks. So if you think you get that level 1 kill...
So you can just go super aggro early.
you have 1 level.
Don't get armor pen marks then?
Correct. You actually you don't start scaling better with armor pen marks until I think it was level 16. And at level 18 you did like 7 more damage if you had armor pen marks over AD.
Yeah, might as well just go flat AD.
Right. I remember we did that math way back in the day when they first changed how armor pen is calculated, because armor pen used to be the way they go based on like that extra 7 damage, but now AD is, and it scales off all your abilities, unlike armor pen, which gives you nothing to scale on. So I just wanted to touch on those runes real quick. If you guys want to go find that, it is on the front page of our League of Legends. Freak did the math. It's in the comments. Not to mention, it really gives you a good breakdown and understanding of how runes are affecting this game now, because bottom lane supports as well might start running some HP regen in their seals. They'll be doing, you could do like half and half.
Definitely.
I've noticed it a lot. I don't know if you guys have played support recently, but if you're going against someone like Karma, if you're going against Karma or Zyra, and Morgana to an extent, running HP per 5 is very, very helpful.
It helps with the poke. It It makes it way more manageable because you can actually regen between little bursts.
Right. And you know what? People are saying who shouldn't be buying scaling health yellows. ADs, to an extent, shouldn't be. But at the same time, you know, the all-in doesn't happen at level 2. I mean, it does, but most people understand how to push back and get to level 2. So, again, if you're level 3 or above, you should be running that scaling health runes. Right, guys?
Huh.
I know. I feel like I'm dropping knowledge on you.
I need to
Everyone's
rework
just
my
sitting here
rune
going,
pages, actually.
Yeah, I'm just
I
happy
learned something just now.
I never bought the lifesteal quints that
Yeah.
I was planning on buying forever that aren't even worth it anymore.
Right. So with that said, before this, now that I touched on that, we're going to start getting the listener questions where everybody can talk about
All right,
this.
that works. Let's start knocking away at this mound we got here.
All right, let me cast darkness. Or
Oh,
paranoia. Damn it. I'm going to put I tried. I'm trying to make up for the fact that Declan hasn't been here, but I'm not very good at it.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Is that Aniqua?
Yeah, Aniqua. We'll go with
Aniqua,
that.
yeah. Oniqua.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aniqua writes in. How do I help my team win if the game drags on super late? Turrets are down equally and everyone is level 18 and at full build. I usually play jungle or mid, so I'm rarely anywhere near enough AD to solo a Nexus. What are some good strategies? Where does Baron and Elixirs come into play? You guys want to jump into that?
Yeah, I think we've touched on this before in differently worded questions, but Baron comes into play when it's full builds and equal objectives. Baron is going to be your point of contention because that's going to be the point that pushes you to the advantage so that you can finally finish that game. So you just got to be smart about it. You know, you don't want to be the team that gets baited and killed in the Baron. You don't want to start the Baron and
Take
get
half
killed
health
there,
with the damage
or
and die. Yeah.
you don't want to have them start Baron and wipe it out before you guys scramble to get there, or you scramble to get there and interrupt it, but it's a trap, and then they'll come in and collapse on you. So it's a dance. It's a dance. It's definitely depending on how well your team communicates.
I don't think he said what rating he is in because it's definitely going to change based on what rank you are. And if you're in bronze at that point, fuck it. Just it's a free for all at 50 minutes. Then it starts getting better as you go up in there. I've noticed platinum, everybody, for the most part, knows what to do or where to be placed at any given time, and especially high platinum, because I'm playing with plat 1s and diamond 5s at this point, and a lot of those guys understand where to go, how to gank lanes. At that point, you are playing the game like it should be played. But when I was playing into gold, there was still some indecisiveness by players at that point. Like, he's asking, what do I do? Well, if you want to help lead your team, you should, from the beginning, I think you should take that leadership role in the game. Like, if you decide, I'm coming in here to win, and I'm going to gain elo, and I'm not confident in my ability to carry the team, but I am confident in my ability to lead the team, pick up that jungle role, tell them where you're going to be, pinging what you're going to do, and start taking dragons, and don't allow it to get to that 50-minute point. You have more control in the earlier parts of that game than before you get there, but once you do get there, take control and say, there's 3 dead, let's go to Baron now. There's 2 dead, let's push down mid. Or I'm pinging here, let's get this. Let's get our buffs, let's take care of this. And type out to people. You can do it in short, concise sentences where people understand what needs to be done. And elixirs really do come into play when you're at 5 or 6 items. You can start doing elixirs. If you think you're going to start pushing down towers really hard as an AD, you can buy a red elixir sooner. If you're working toward that Guardian Angel, buy that red elixir to get an extra AD and push down a tower.
I'd also say it's also kind of a good time to start setting traps by sitting in bushes that are cleared, or clearing bushes ahead of time, or clearing out entire areas ahead of time, and then going in and waiting for them to just wander through. More often than not, if you are all sitting there and they don't know you're there and you can pick up 1 kill out of that, that's enough to swing a Baron or even taking down inhibitors or their Nexus when push comes to shove that late in the game. Another thing too is if you're at that point where you're at full build and you still have a decent amount of money, you may want to start reevaluating what items that you have. So like, say that you're full build and you have a Sunfire cape, but nobody on your team has a Randuin's, and you're like a bruiser or a tank, it might be worth picking up that Randuin's so you can like counter kite their AD carry and slow them down for your team to get up to them. Right. It's the little things like that that'll make a big enough difference, or hopefully make a big enough difference for you to be able to close the game out.
Yeah, and I buy elixirs kind of as a panic thing too. If I died, or if I got caught, or someone on my team got caught, and we're in a 4v5 now, all of a sudden, oh crap, let me buy up elixirs. I can't afford to finish my big item, my last item. Then buy up elixirs real quick, and then we'll go into the fray and hope we win this fight with that edge.
Right. And that can definitely be a quick edge that you can't get from buying items, especially if you're sitting on 2 or 3 items and you have some wards in your pocket. Buying wards at the end of the game is really good as well. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
because that'll help you catch those people out, seeing where they're moving around. So, I don't know. When it gets to that late game, it is tricky, and everything is teetering on a fine point. So
I do want to go back to Sean's point really quickly about selling items. If you are a jungler and you have like a Spear of the Elder Lizard, at that point, it's better to sell it.
Get rid of it.
Get a big ticket item at that point.
Right. Pick up that Bloodthirster, pick up that Trinity
Unless
Force.
it's Feral Flare.
Yeah, don't get rid of Feral
Yeah,
Flare.
don't get rid of
Stack
Feral Flare.
it.
It's
Yeah.
too good.
We talked about that on Monday and said it's pretty much good on anybody. And if you've been playing this game, I think you could jungle just about anybody with.
Or
Feral
if you
Flare
got
at
to
this
watch me play
That
Rengar.
Rengar.
How'd you do on Rengar?
I shat on everything. Dom made me a god with Lulu, and it was some of the most fun I've had jungling.
When
in a
you
really
saw
long
him,
time.
you saw how Rengar
Nice.
is more durable than he was
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
You're
you-
using that W to gain that extra armor and magic resist right away.
Yeah, you can tank a lot more stuff. I really like the new jungle Rengar, so I'm hoping we see him more.
Yeah, I do too. I was going to point to something, but no, I was going to say that when you go into a game also to have fun, like if you're playing with friends, this is something that we don't, we go in to have fun, but sometimes we try too hard. But it was funny, Victor, who was playing AD, Dom told me the day after that Victor had a lot of fun playing those games that night because we just went in there and fucked around. Because we did a water warfare comp where we had Gangplank top, Fizz mid, Nautilus jungle, Misfortune AD carry, and Nami support. So we were all water champions.
And I talk shit to the enemy team the entire time.
Go figure, cheer attacking shit.
And Pone, weren't you talking in pirate speak the whole time?
Yeah, I started the game and told everyone to gather their land legs or their sea legs and come fight me in the river. So, all right, we will move on to the next question, I suppose. So, Rick, he wrote in with a question to us. I've heard you guys mention in the past that hybrid power champions are likely to be very strong picks this season, and then brought up Jax in the top lane and Hecarim in the jungle. Well, that was a really long time ago. I want to say that was like episode 135 or something. When
That was a while ago. I mean, I still, a lot of that still holds true for the most part. I don't know all about Hecarim per se, though. I think he might have gotten a little stronger with the Feral Flare stuff. He's probably still going to have mana issues.
Oh, yeah.
Which is his big problem.
What are your thoughts on Ezreal? And given the current state of the meta, do you think we might see a resurgence of him in the mid lane?
I don't like Ezreal. I don't like it when my team plays Ezreal. I just don't like Ezreal. He is an AD carry who's good early and mid game, but he just falls off so hard late game if you guys don't have any like hard AD carries.
Well, he's better for extended fights.
Then that's fine, but for solo queue, extended fights typically don't happen at like a pro level sort of thing.
I don't think he necessarily falls off as much as in that period of the late game, other choices of marksman are way scarier.
Yeah, they're. I'd rather fight an Ezreal late game than deal with a Jinx or a Vayne.
Right. Exactly. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same here.
Or
so.
Twitch. I would
Right.
think Twitch is going to start definitely making a comeback,
Yep.
especially with this visual update.
Like Ezreal's a really safe laner. He's extremely safe to play bot, and you can get ahead by poking if your opponents are out of position. And I could see him being like a great pick against if you're good and people in your division or around where you're playing aren't that great, and you can really take advantage of that. The issue is that if you don't get that huge advantage early, it's not going to translate into you being like a massive powerhouse late game.
I think he's too hard for a solo queue player to play him specifically. You have to be good with skill shots, and you have to have a lot of practice in playing Ezreal. Now, speaking specifically to Ezreal mid, no, I don't think he'll make a resurgence because he doesn't have the wave clear power as a lot of the other mids do. Even LeBlanc, who is primarily a single target champion, is maxing W. I know you said before she loses like 100 damage at the max rank on it, but she's able to clear waves and roam at that point, while Ezreal doesn't have that same power that old Gragas had, that LeBlanc has, that Ari has, because Ari even comes with CC built in the same amount of damage. I said LeBlanc, Ziggs.
I would say a
and
big part of that is
Vel'Koz and
just
all that.
so many other mid laners offer up just that small modicum of CC too, and that's kind of what pushes them over the edge for the most
Right.
part anyway, because they mix the mobility and the CC. So you have like Gragas, Ahri, any of those champions that
Or they're an
Even
assassin
Ziggs.
that
Right, yeah,
deletes
yeah.
somebody like Zed, you know.
don't
But-
get me wrong, AP Ezreal mid hits really hard, but I think it gets outclassed.
There are scarier options
Yeah.
out there, and like we've said on pretty much every cast, you know, if you're really good with Ezreal,
Keep playing
and
him.
this is your main champion, you love playing him AP, and you have fun with that. Keep doing it. You'll surprise people. People aren't used to fighting against it, so you'll gain a little bit of an advantage there in solo queue. So see how far it can take
Yeah,
you.
you got to look at how you're going to play it, because Wild Turtle could play Ezreal in mid and do really well, but because he's so skilled and has
He's
such
disgusting.
great reactions at this game that he knows the angles he needs. He understands how to play that champion to the point where he can play in any role well. Now
He takes TP now, by the way.
on who,
Wild Turtle.
where.
You didn't see his Twitter meme holding the toilet paper, smiling, say,
No.
"I took TP," you know, and
Ha ha, no.
oh, I had
I'm
to
not-
comment on it. How
I'm
he
not
wipes the
sure
enemy
that.
team, and you know, good stuff.
Considering how bloody like the lanes he's usually in I'm not surprised. Worst case, gets a kill, goes back, gets right back to farming, or dies and gets right back to kill him.
Yeah, he might actually take teleport,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
and by any means, we're not saying that Ezreal is an awful champion. We would just, most of the time when we play, we'd rather have other champions play with him. You can still, like, if you're playing a poke comp, Ezreal used to be the go-to, but Caitlyn seems to be the one
And
now. 'cause of
Nidalee
range
is in a
longer.
Nidalee for mid lane outclasses Ezreal in
Oh, and a
terms of
poke
poke
comp.
too. Yeah.
Easy. But I'm talking about like from an 80 carry perspective. It's
Right.
really about outplaying the opponent. And if you as a player can outplay the opponent and can land those
get the advantage.
mystic shots, Ezreal's going to be
Then
a
roam.
fantastic champion for you.
then Roman gank, arcane shift in, and you know, I can see it working. It's just I don't see a resurgence of it like you were asking.
No.
I don't think any of us see that coming up as the new popular thing because there are just better options.
Yeah, because you need an 80 carry to do damage, unlike before where an 80 carry could add CC to the team with a jungler that was bringing even more CC, like the blue Ezreal build.
Well, and again, this kind of comes back to the fact that he's not like most of his damage doesn't come from auto attacks; it comes from skill shots anyway.
Yeah, 'cause
so
Mystic Shot reduces cooldown
right,
every time you
and,
hit.
and it's not like somebody like Varus who mixes a ton of auto attack damage if he's getting his passive on and the skill shots.
The giant burst, which is more burst
right.
than that. But yeah, all right. I think we've beat that one to the ground, so we'll move on to Henry's question. I think we're gonna cruise through these tonight.
Yeah, we
I
are.
hope so.
All right, Henry, you're up. Any general tips on how to snowball better, preferably in regards to mid lane? I'm having trouble getting an advantage with 2 to 3 kills. Henry, I don't think that's a problem with you. I think that's a problem with where the game is at right now. I think the game has made it with early kill gold reduction and the reduced dragon the cost and the reduced turrets, how much you're getting for those. It's harder to snowball because you're not getting as much gold.
It is funny that you say that. Did you see that Reddit post today about how somebody brought up how they said they feel that this game is harder to carry now as a singular player than it's ever been in the history of the game, simply because due to Riot's want for this game to be more of like a 5v5 focused sort of game, and the reduction, like specifically the reduction of early kill gold and the benefit of early dragons or early towers. Even if you get a super lead early where you should be able to pound somebody down, it doesn't exactly play out that way anymore.
Right.
The game is a little more like
Scaling.
flat in that aspect, to where you need like a 6 kill advantage to get what in the past you used to be able to get out of a 3 kill advantage. It's much harder to snowball now than at any other point.
You know, you can still snowball off of 3 kills, and you can start driving turrets down, but I found it much harder to split push at this point, because even if you have 3 kills, people aren't that far behind you, and that goes back to what Chira said, because the gold difference isn't as large as it used to be. Because now it's 100 gold for a turret if you're outside of the range, but 150, 175 if you're standing near it.
Right.
That's
I guess
giant.
For mid lane, the best way to snowball once you start having that 2 to 3 kill advantage, if you want to maintain that lead, zone your opponent. Keep him from CSing.
I'd
keep
say
him out of
push
there.
and roam. and help and get your other people snowballed. Because
that's also dependent. That's also dependent on the lanes that
Right.
you're playing with, though.
You can push and zone. You can push and throw through as a mid laner, especially.
Sure.
You can push and keep them off of CSing
Sure.
while you're pushing that turret down. And then, yeah, like you said, roam. But when you do roam, you give them a little bit of respite. You got to make sure your roam pays off. So don't roam to your lane that's suffering, because then chances are it's going to either even out or maybe you'll get a kill.
The best way I've heard it put is you should only roam when you feel like the results of the roam are guaranteed. So like,
Yep.
if you have a lot of CC in the bot lane because you have a support like Leona and her ult's up and they're pushed up, that's a great time to roam. If you're somebody like LeBlanc or Ari or any mid laner that has incredible burst and can really pack a punch and has a
Turn
little bit of
something
CC
from a
themselves.
stalemate into boom
Right.
kills and then a push on the turret. So then you get another one.
That being said, I also was going to bring up that I like the zoning idea, just because if you're able to zone somebody, and this doesn't work as well in mid lane since mid lane's a little more dangerous when it comes to this sort of thing. It's much easier to do out of the top lane. But zoning forces the jungler to react to you. And if they don't, you're going to get a much larger advantage out of that
You're
lane.
going to keep snowballing.
Exactly. So if you're really worried about snowballing and you can if you can zone to keep that advantage and the jungler can't do anything about it, go ahead and do that. Worst case, just ward up around you if you're that far ahead to keep the other person down while paying attention and not getting behind yourself. Because
that's the safe way to keep snowballing.
There's a lot of people that will get an early lead and then be so confident in that early lead that they start making stupid little mistakes like not warding normal jungle paths
Pushing
or stuff
too
like
aggressively.
that. Exactly. And they'll end up
Roaming
dying
too much
for it.
and
They'll
not-
end up dying for it, and the other their opponent in lane will come back because of
Or
it.
they roam to a lane, they can't make anything happen. Then they try to go back. The other laner just caught up on CS.
That's a big one.
Counter pushed it a little bit. So
that took me
it's
a
a
while to
gamble.
learn for mid. Like what you were just talking about. That took me a while to learn is
Right.
how not to roam, pretty much, or when not to roam, I should say.
When not to
because-
roam, exactly. I like how Chira put it. You roam when it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to make something happen. So you just got to get an
Otherwise,
eye
it's
for
just
that.
wasted time, and you're giving them time to catch up.
Right. Pretty much the other lane is pushed out really well, and you can get there in time before they back.
That's what going to Chira's point too. I really like. That's why I really like Heimerdinger top or Renekton top, for example, because you're drawing attention to your lane, and if you're confident in your ability to get out, and Heimer, you have to land skills,
It relieves pressure.
right?
That's the absolute biggest thing. If you can relieve jungle pressure from other lanes, that can be enough to stop the stalemate to begin with. So, I mean, it kind of secondarily helps your other laners out. So you're helping to carry them by just stomping on someone else.
Right. Exactly. That's a good point. You're helping another lane win because you're such a threat that the jungler has to concentrate on you. So now your
You're so
jungler,
selfless.
hopefully,
Right. But you have to not die.
Yeah, that's the big.
you got to
thing.
be like Adam was saying. You got to be confident in your ability to get out when the shit hits the fan. So
And you have to understand when not to start pushing. Even in mid lane, you understand even if you're more powerful, but you don't have flash, you are vulnerable to push the snowball in the other direction. Like we said, this game is very, I don't want to say give and take, but it's very finicky in what could happen. 100 gold could swing a fight either way.
Right.
So
yeah, I hope we answered that question. We had some really good points, and that was a good question.
That was a good question.
Thank you for bringing it up, Henry.
It just happened to be topical right now too, because
Right.
I think people have
Yeah.
been talking about it recently.
Well, I mean, you can. It's been a big deal because I personally feel it's harder to snowball as a singular player now than it's ever been. So, and I've been playing a real long time.
Yeah. Right. All right.
And you know what? This discussion actually somewhat segues into our next listener question that Aaron writes.
Go for it, Declan.
So it says, if you're an immobile mid up against a mobile enemy and you know they're roaming bot, is it better to follow them or to push, pressure, and possibly kill their tower, provided you warn bot, obviously? Does it depend on your jungler's position? What about if you're a high mobility champ? So we were just talking about that, when not to roam. So I think if the mid is roaming bottom and you warn your fellow support and marksman in time, I say continue farming or push hard to get that turret and then force them to come back. I've done it many times where I'd see the mid go away, because they're highly mobile and they like to roam. I'll warn about it, and then I'll clear the wave. I'll just wipe it out, push the turret, and then I see on that little ward by Dragon, oop, they're coming back, and they just wasted all that time going down. Then like, oh crap, I got to go back and save my middle turret.
You have to make
Or
this.
they'll commit.
You're right.
So.
Well, you have to make a split-second decision based on the information that you have been fed before that point. You need to ask yourself, do I know where the jungler is at? Do I know where he was last? Do I know where he's going? Because if I see mid leaving bot and now it's a 4v2 bot, my jungler isn't able to make it there, and I'm a mobile mid, I'm going to stay mid and push.
Right.
But if I just saw their jungler at blue and saw their mid later start to roam, I'm going to leave my lane almost no matter where it's at. And I'm going to roam bot with my jungler to stop that 4-man gank on the bottom lane. But
And
again, it's information based.
Part of that's a presence thing too, because the addition of 2 extra people to a 4-man gank to kind of even the odds can sometimes be enough to make the people starting the 4-man gank hesitant to actually fully commit to it, just because they might get cleaned up. I would say a huge thing to do would be, we've talked about this in the past. You should ward ahead so that you know the path that they're going when they go to do it. So say if you're red side, don't be afraid to ward the bush on the other side of their red.
Yes,
I have a friend in Challenger who said one of his biggest pieces of advice ever was, if you're the mid laner, it's your job to know which lanes are going to carry harder than any other lanes, and basically you are their vision to protect them and make them able to snowball. So it doesn't matter if you're playing Zed mid and you have the ability to snowball by getting a couple kills. If you have a Vayne bottom who, if she gets behind, she's not going to be as scary late game as she could if she just stayed even. And you know that they're gonna roam. If you ward that up and give them a heads up and they know to play safe, and this also depends on them too, and in bot lane, and them knowing when to back off.
Some of them have blinders on. They're like, oh, we're going to go in and harass here, even though I heard the pings.
But at the end of the day, you're the mid laner, and if your mid laner, if the enemy mid laner is roaming and you don't know about it and they gank a lane and get a kill, that's on you. You know, you should have provided at least some sort of warning, exactly, that they were moving to go do something. And if that's the case and you're an immobile character, shove the shit out of that turret, you know? If they have like Katarina or somebody else that's going to be roaming as soon as they hit 6 or something like that, and you're playing Heimer or somebody who's not exactly going to be able to jump around the map as fast as he wants to, you can take turrets like a motherfucker, so go and do it.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, we 2-man Baron at like 20 minutes the other day.
Yeah, that was great. It was Heimer and Rengar, 2-manning Baron.
Right.
Really?
Yeah,
4 turrets from Heimer
turrets.
plus
plus Rengar Q and Feral Flare is really good right now. Apparently, like a 15-minute duo Baron isn't that uncommon anymore now with the resurgence of Yi and Tryndamere in the jungle with Feral Flare. So.
I want to do it tonight. Can I play Heimer top and we can 15-minute Baron?
Yeah, we could do that. I'll play Yi. This will be fun.
If you get Yi.
Oh yeah,
Yi with Feral
you know what? I'll play
Flare is
Tryndamere. Fuck it. Worst case, we're about to die. I'll just
We'll
out.
just play blind pick. Fuck it.
Yeah,
Fucking
whatever.
Tryndamere.
Tryndamere.
DeClaude, anything to say about immobile mids? I guess you did start it out, so or anything to add on?
Yeah, I play Syndra, Vel'Koz, Malzahar. They're very immobile. And I usually like to push the lane because more often than not, if you notice, your question is, you notice them roaming because they're mobile, do you react? If you're reacting, they're ahead of you already. Chances are they're going to get there first. They're going to do whatever damage they can do. Maybe you can salvage a situation if your bottom plays well or baits them into a situation. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on something unless you get a kill. And if you're playing reactively, you're probably not going to get a kill.
And I'll actually give another little tidbit of advice. Say that they do roam bot and they either do or don't make something out of it, and your jungler couldn't make it down there, but they're kind of around mid lane at the same time that the enemy roam bot. Don't be afraid to go in the enemy's jungle if their bot lane backs or something and try to pick up a sneak kill on the mid laner as he's going back to middle to catch up on farm.
That's
lot of
funny
times
you talk about that because there was a game a couple weeks back in OGN where they were making fun of, I want to say it was Ryu either got the kill or died. It was a Gragas, level 6 Gragas, waited for him by race and killed him. And it's just like, it's like that. It's like they called it, Imani and Doa laughed about it. So like, that's totally a silver strategy. Everybody knows that's going to happen if he's missing mid lane and you're walking back.
Yep.
Yep. So unlike the saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You're not going to be Roman when they're Roman. So if everyone is Roman, you keep pushing mid, you'll be fine.
I hate you. I hate you so much.
I tried to make that one work
Ugh.
so bad. But yeah,
Good work.
that was a good question. And it was perfectly grouped. I don't know if Dom did that on purpose, but that was good.
God, why am I so tired tonight?
Hey, suck it up.
Complaining will get you nowhere.
Oh, sorry guys. It's one of those. It's been a day. I worked
It
my
has
ass
been a
off
day.
today. I got lots of great news, and I worked my ass off, and it's been stressful. So, all right.
Great news is stressful.
Yes, this great news is stressful.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my chest I just had a pain in my chest. That can't be good.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
You'll be fine.
Keep an eye on. Any shooting pains in your arm or what?
No shitty pains. It was just right here in the middle of my chest.
Just drink another beer. It's good for your heart.
Well, I probably have another one tonight. All I have to
Apparently.
drink. God, it hurts. Seriously, my chest is burning right here.
Burning, like sharp pain?
Yes.
And Adam just had a heart attack on air.
I might
That's
have-
fucked. I'm sorry.
I might be having a heart attack right now, guys. Wait.
Yeah, let's laugh about it.
Wait, I can't feel my
No.
heart. Well, I
No,
know I'm
you're
still
fine.
alive.
You're
I know.
fine. Jeez.
Fucking
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Gotta fuck with the listeners who aren't paying attention. They'll come back Monday and won't
Trying
be
to
here.
scare us here.
Adam's in the hospital.
No, it does hurt though, but it's just weird. Anyway, Eric writes in top lane, what are your options when you get a horrible mismatch that leaves you shoved into the tower and able to farm without jungle support?
Oh God.
You get on your knees, Hail Mary, and just hope to God that somebody does something in another lane.
Yep.
Because there's
Well-
really nothing you can do.
You
There's a reason
you
they
hope
call
you
it
can
top
farm
lane
at your
island.
turret.
Right.
You farm at your turret as best as you can.
I
and
will
hope
give
that they're
you.
pushing.
I will give you the best. This is what happened to me. I played Olaf into Rumble last night, and I did well early, but I fucked up because for some reason in my head I said I have Flash, but I had Ghost, and I died in a gank that came at level 3 when I had Rumble at 100 life,
Just
or
a sliver.
just enough where the enemy jungler came in and killed me. So I died once, came back in the lane. I fucked up, totally out of position, just overconfident, thinking, I'm going to do this. I died again. Came back in the lane, farmed under my turret, took golems, walked back. Farmed under my turret, took golems, went back. I was under 2 levels at one point. There's nothing I could do. All I could do was try to farm under my turret, take golems, and back. And then I died again. So now I'm down 0-3, right? I can't even go into him. If I went into this rumble, I took half of my life in damage. So I said to myself, I'm going to try my best to farm as much as I can and hope that my jungler is doing something in other lanes that snowballs this game. And eventually we didn't win the game, but it wasn't because the rumble got fed. It could have been. It could have totally been. But my only option was to take Wraiths, or it was either to take the white if I was on red side or blue side, or take double golems on red side. And then try to farm the best I can with my abilities under turret. And if you can't do that, you literally just have to say Hail Mary. And
Yeah, you have to suck it
just
up.
Yeah, it's so easy to say, help, jungler, what the F? Their jungler ganked me 4 times, you're not ganking me at all, blah, 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 rawr. No, let them gank the other lanes, let them try to help the other lanes. Yours is a lost cause. Do your best to salvage it. You're in control, at least you're in control of that lane. If the jungler comes up and then he dies too, you're even more mad at him, and then your lane is even more fed.
And if you're that behind, don't be afraid. If they have pressure on you to be able to kill you at the turret, don't be afraid to let that turret go and sit back at the second tier turret. It's much easier for your jungler to react to that and for you to close the shorter distance up the ramp to get to your other turret. Right. It's a little harder to dive you there. That being said, you can still be dove there. But it's a bit safer, and this is the biggest PSA I have for this. If you are playing a bruiser and you're that far behind, stop building damage and just build straight tank.
I was gonna say I did the same thing. I had bought a Vampiric Scepter And that's when I died the second time. I had already had a Vampiric Scepter,
sit
and I
on it.
stopped. I literally just stopped building. I went right 3 defensive items by the end of
Yep.
the game, and then started building offensively.
At that point, you are not going to carry the game out of just building damage, and you need to be as useful to your team as possible so that they can carry.
Yep. Soak as many abilities and hits as possible.
Yep.
Before you inevitably die again, and hopefully your team can make something out of it.
It's just one of those unfortunate. It happens in the games, and there is no magical answer. It's kind of there's points in your life, in real life stuff, where people you'll say, how can I repair this relationship, for example, and there is no magical answer. You just have to grit your teeth and work through it and hope it works out in the end.
Yep.
So
Good point, Adam.
That is
Bringing it into real.
Yeah, that's seriously that was good.
I've been listening.
But seriously, kick
I've
that
been
bitch to
listening
the
too
curb
much.
because she's not good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So inspiring.
I've been listening to a lot of talk radio recently, and on the way home. So
Kick that man to the curb, girlfriend.
God damn it.
He's not good for you.
all right, David, you're up. Chiro, read David's question.
All right. What do you guys think of Jungle Singed? On paper, he has everything. AoE damage, one form of hard CC, and a strong soft CC. Slap Ghost on him, and he has guaranteed ganks, and he's not denied farm like in lane. And I told Adam last week that I'd been training my whole life to answer this question because I'm probably the only person on the show that has ever ran Jungle Singed.
I'm not
And,
Dyrus. Never played it.
It's a lot of fun.
I've never played it.
It's a lot of fun, but you are useless early. You can say as much as you want about his hard and soft CC. The fling is great if you can get the positioning on them to throw them in a good spot. But the goo, his slow isn't
Mega adhesive.
yeah.
Or whatever
Mega
it's called.
adhesive glue is it's not that great early at all, and it costs a lot of mana. So if you fail a gank and you use that, you're not going to have enough mana to actually continue clearing the jungle. That's his other major issue.
I feel
His
like he would
jungle
take a lot of damage.
he does. His jungle clear is incredibly slow until you start getting a couple items that make it much easier. But the issue is if you get behind, again, you're at the end of the day, you're a tank that does some damage, and
Why wouldn't you just play J4 or somebody instead?
right. You're not going to be able to get the
Because he
same
likes
amount of
Jungle
gold.
Singed.
You're not going to be able to get the same amount of gold as in lane.
That makes it okay. I
Right.
like it, so I'm gonna play it.
I-
I
hey,
like
what?
Poppy,
It's a
so I'm
game.
gonna play it.
Jungle
It's a game.
Singe. Jungle
That's why
Singe
people
can be a
buy
lot of fun.
skins.
Yeah, fair point. Jungle Singe can be a lot of fun, and it's always funny to do it. And I wouldn't do it in solo queue just because it's kind of troll. But you can make it work as long as you're not getting counter jungled, or they don't have somebody that can forcibly go in your jungle and
See, I don't agree
Deal
with
with
the
you 1v1.
whole he gets denied farm like in lane, because every time I've ever played Jungle Singe, I've been even or way ahead as Singe. You just have to learn to take some damage as you're running by the tower.
Top Singed.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna play top Singed. Where else are you gonna play Singed? Mid? That'd
You
be
said
silly.
Jungle Singed.
Oh, I meant top. Sorry, I was the question. But anyways, if you're playing lane Singed, I've hardly had the misfortune of losing CS as him. Usually,
Right.
I'm very far ahead.
he's so great at farming in lane. It's almost a disservice to go into the jungle and try and farm with him. His ganks just aren't that strong. Fling can be great, but the biggest thing is that compared to other junglers, most other junglers offer like a CC burst damage sort of thing, and that's something that Singe does not. It would be great if he had ghost up every time he went to gank, but he's not going to.
Right.
His damage
Yeah.
doesn't come from just bursting somebody down and making a quick kill. His damage comes from like a sustained, long drawn out fight until he gets the items to be able to do a significant amount of damage in a shorter period of time.
Singe doesn't
So-
really kill people, even in lane.
No.
He just forces you out and takes turrets because
And,
you
I
can't
mean-
fight him.
He used to be able to kill people and you could do the sketchy shit where you can make your poison trail invisible, or where you had a ton of free stats from his ult. I mean, you still get some free stats, but compared to what it used to be, it's nothing.
With the free tenacity from
right,
his ultimate.
which was huge.
Which I think people need to know that are playing top Singe. There is a trick. Did they haven't removed the E trick, right? The free
Yeah,
auto
you can
attack?
still do what inverted composer who kicked my ass in a solo queue game once, who was arguably the most famous Singe player that there ever was. You do what he calls the sky auto attack, where if you use fling on somebody and you throw them in the air and you right click on them the moment you throw them, you'll actually auto attack them in the air and you can get an extra little amount of damage off. The thing is that auto attacks early in the game pay off huge on champions like that. And he has some pretty good early AD for being an AP champion. So if you can get good at throwing people and hitting them with that auto attack every time you go to fling them, you can put out a ton of free damage early. And at one point he was even rushing a Sheen just so he could get extra damage out of it. I wouldn't do that anymore. But I mean, that can still work. I still say Singed's best thing would be to sit top lane. And now with teleport being better than it's ever been, I just don't know why you would want to even go jungle.
I want to
Singed.
play Singe now.
Yeah, like, you know what? Like his potion, it's insanity playing in the jungle. You know, you should just play him top.
You know what's funny about your puns? You kill it. You completely kill the topic of conversation because all Sean and I do is just look at each other and go, fuck!
Well, you know what? As far as this Singe conversation goes, we should just trail off.
Okay. That's it. I quit.
Yep, I'm done with that.
All
I
right,
quit.
good.
I need a new host. Please send your
resume to Adam Ponophobia Cogswell. He'll get back to you.
Jesus Christ. Somebody that can keep up to Claude and put him in his place, because obviously I do not have the power to do it.
It's good for your heart.
Oh, man. But not good for my soul, that's for sure. Bruticus writes, with top laners featuring mostly tanks and hyper carries, do you think AP top will be stronger? If not, what would it take for double AP to come back? To answer this question, I don't think double AP was ever here. I mean, you can play it. I think this question came in before Rise got powerful, so before 4.3. We had
Rise
the
is
tiers.
back, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know.
Yeah, Rise in the top lane back.
Yes.
Lissandra not
He's
doing
on the
so
ban.
well. It was
Okay.
Rise and Lissandra, and
I have yet to see. I'm still interested to see.
I guess
and we need
Heimerdinger is
further
here now.
testing with Vlad. Heimerdinger is a definite able to be played top and kick ass top.
oh yeah, no, Vlad is good now.
Okay,
Yes, Vlad is very
Vlad's
good
being
now.
back to a powerhouse. I would see Rumble as making an all right
Rumble is
comeback
going to
again.
make a comeback in 4-6 when his buffs come through.
And we've talked about this numerous times in the past couple weeks.
Right. And we haven't talked about his changes that they just got proposed this last week.
Right. No, I'm just saying we've been saying that Rumble will eventually make a comeback, but with the changes, I'm almost positive that's definitely going to
Now,
happen.
you said you weren't sure, it was a double AP ever a thing. It was a lot more popular. You
was
see
in
a lot
Europe,
more Kennen
sure.
tops.
I would say yes,
You know.
more so like at the end of season 2 kind of thing, but
Yeah.
I don't think like double AP for the most part in season 3 never caught on. I know before Cloud9 was Cloud9 back when they still had Niantenso and Yuzuki and all them, they were way more centered on trying double AP comps, and that's one of the reasons they didn't make it into the spring split last season.
and
but-
Dyrus with Rumble and,
Right.
Well, it's,
things like that. So
yeah, you know what's funny about Rumble is it's really an NA centric thing. Like EU doesn't play any of that, but at the same time, NA never played Lissandra top, and EU like to play that a lot. And EU has been trying the double AP comps for a while now.
That
They
was one
did-
of the few like regional holdouts we'd had for a while.
Yeah, well, it's still kind of happening. EU is still trying to hold on to that double AP thing. Like they've tried to do Lulu top, they've tried to play
Couple times.
LeBlanc top, and
it failed horribly, the Lulu tops
so did
that I
LeBlanc.
watched, the games that I watched, yeah.
Just the only double AP that's really working out right now in the NA scene prior to 4-5 is Rise. Now, in this one, I do think Vlad's going to make a comeback because Woda change is gigantic. 10%
Right.
CDR plus an additional 30 AP. Does make that
Yeah.
item
And
much
Rise
better.
is just huge because at the end of the day, he's a late game Nasus type champion anyway. So
Still hard to bully out of lane and
Right.
still gets the same amount of farm.
and he's tanky as all hell
Right. So
for a burst champion.
So
What's-
he's probably going to be banned. So
right. So what's gonna take to make double AP come back? while I said it was never a thing, it is slowly making a comeback, but at the same time, the AD champions can keep up with it. So I don't think it's ever going to come to the point where the AD bruisers are out of the top lane. You just have to shift around your priorities of
where it's the go-to.
Right.
I kind of like where it's at, where you have options. You can succeed.
It's so much better
the
than the
AP
beginning
top.
of Season 4. So much better than the beginning. I hated top laning at the beginning of Season 4.
You mean the
All
3 champions that were played top lane?
I mean the
in Season
Renekton
4?
bar. The Renekton bar. You know, you're like,
Renekton,
okay,
Mundo, and
where do I fit on the
Shinaz.
Renekton meter here? You know.
And it's still, to an extent, there still is a Renekton meter, but I can play Heimerdinger into Renekton now and never worry about a damn thing.
Or Cho'Gath.
Or choke.
Or I can play Cho'Gath, or I can play Trundle into him, or I can play Shyvana into him. You know, like, yeah, Renekton's super powerful. Yes, it's very much fun to play him, and yes, he's
Hopefully, it just hopefully with some of these changes, it kills some of the monotony of playing top lane at the moment.
It really has. Well, actually, ever since
Right.
you guys introduced
Variety,
me
yeah.
to Heimerdinger, like my monotony. Of the
I
top
would even
lane's
say
going
the
down.
Heimerdinger and Olaf too. Olaf's made top lane way more interesting, at least for me. But
Right.
that's just because again, he's not picked up by that many people, and they don't expect a bunch of true damage to the face.
Yeah,
I
who
won't be
does?
happy till I can play Sedge top lane.
You won't be happy until you
A
can play
throwback
the
to the
most
past.
off-kilter champions you could find.
Yes, because then I have an advantage because my enemy's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you know it's funny here. Darkner said it's funny how long it took Riot to realize that 95% of the champions that use WOTA are non-mana champs. Dom and I were talking about this the other day. He would be laughing right now because we're like, you know, I think he said this last week, where he said this on Monday, where Riot had said we don't really want spell vamp for people to be used, and then they put magic or mana regeneration on it to try to get more people to use it. No one fucking touched it,
Right.
and then they finally went,
It became worthless.
oh, no one is using this because only a certain subset of champions wanted the spell vamp.
Right.
Like,
Now, I find that kind of sad too, because now within the recent nerfs to Elise, they kind of killed every AP jungler as well. Like the last holdout of the AP junglers,
people are
except for
still
maybe
saying
Fiddlesticks.
people are still saying
Diana.
Elise is really good.
She's still fine, but that's just because her kit offers up so much versatility. Like, there's a lot you can do with her, but compared to so many other junglers at the moment, like we're seeing a huge resurgence in Yi and Tryndamere again, and Nocturne's making a comeback. How many AP champions are out of the jungle right now?
2
One or maybe 2.
Fiddlesticks
Elise,
and Fiddlesticks.
maybe
and Elise.
Phoenix Udyr, Fiddlesticks,
Phoenix would do no.
maybe.
Tiger Udyr with Feral
That was
Flare.
Feral Flare.
I love Tiger
Yeah,
Udyr.
Feral Flare.
Ugh.
I like Diana. She still clears like a beast.
Excuse me.
But how often is she really played out of the jungle?
You don't see her play that often, so
Exactly.
you
And
can make
that's-
certain AP champions work. but
Right. And
the other
the other
options
thing
is
is too,
Feral
a lot of
Flare
a lot of the AP champions out of the jungle are more utility champions anyway, like Maokai. And hopefully we can see a resurgence from them.
I've been
But
seeing Nautilus more.
really? I
Yeah.
haven't seen him at all except for
I've
when
been seeing
Wrecker
him
plays
pop
him.
out every now and then. But
Well, let's answer
don't
this
know, he
last
hasn't
question
been-
then.
yeah.
Okay.
So Bruticus writes
on.
in with the. Oh, sorry, not Bruticus.
You just did it.
Roderick writes in. DeClaude was doing the strike throughs and he missed one. Damn it, DeClaude.
I'm on it.
Damn it
I'm
to
on-
Claude.
It's the MS. Leave me alone.
Roderick writes in, can you guys name some champions that have similar mechanics that you've grown into over time? He cited Jinx and Ashe for an example.
Because of their ults.
I would assume because of alts.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
guess.
And because they both have a slow where you have a
yeah.
W.
Vel'Koz and Ziggs have all skill shots that do AoE, so it made it an easier transition for me. Even though they have their differences that are pretty big, like Ziggs can satchel away, Vel'Koz can't. He just pops barrier and hopes he doesn't die. So there are ones with similar. Like I do take that into account. I'm like, okay,
I'm
these are
trying
all
to
skill shots.
think.
These are all
For the
AoE.
most part, out of champions that I play, like I would say I used to play a lot of Jax. He was the first champ I ever actually bought with IP, and it was funny because when I went to play Aatrox, and I was playing Aatrox a lot for a while, Aatrox just felt like a worse version of Jax, and he still kind of is. But for the most part, I just try to play a shitload of champions.
I'm trying to think for similar. Mine was more for similar play styles, not similar abilities. Like I I went to from being I was always an aggressive top laner, and it became more aggressive as I got more comfortable in top lane. So playing Renekton, I learned how to play Olaf out of that because I could.
I would say, and even going into
aggressive.
that too, man mode wise, you start picking up Shyvana and other people like that as well.
I started looking at Shyvana and the damage she could do and understanding how to play her, and you can play Trundle in a similar fashion. Those are the champions now. It's hard for me to think back in Season 2, learning the champions that I learned when I was playing, because I don't remember what I cut my teeth on when I learned top lane, because I don't remember what was popular because I started learning at the end of Season 2. I didn't play on Garen. I remember I did Kennen. Volibear was one I did a lot of in the top lane. For a while there, Volibear was super strong. It was like first 3 months that he came out, he was secret OP in the top lane and actually crushed Vlad. He was like one of the few counters to Vladimir.
And you take fucking red pot on him first too, which was the other funny thing. Get a little boost out of your passive.
Red pot.
Yep. You pull a Riven with Volibear, except you were huge.
Going on this question, when you talk about AD carries, conceptually, every single AD carry plays exactly the same, where it's positioning based. While some of them have different positioning needs, like a Vayne is going to dive into a team to do the damage. Like a Vayne, when she pops her ult, is tumbling through people and getting inside the team and going for the AP carry or going for the AD carry.
Whereas like
Twitch,
Ezreal or even Corki for that matter are going to sit on the outside and try to poke away.
right? But and Twitch is going to submarine and start the fight from behind or in the middle, and the Twitch is going to play differently. But it's all based on positioning. So when you're talking about how to do similar abilities, I would instead look at similar abilities. I would look at similar mechanics. Like 80 carries, once you've learned how to play Graves and you've gone in, maybe you can learn how to play Vayne from that point. They're going to play differently, but they're both diving in, doing damage champions. If you're playing Ezreal, you could play Corki instead. That type of thing.
That's a good point. It's how they play. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if you're used to sitting back, plinking away, being an ADC or like Pantheon, caster type fighter, then you want to find someone similar. Otherwise, it will be a big change. So.
Right,
yeah,
and you might try to play him improperly, like how Sean used to play support in the bottom lane. He'd play it like a top laner and try to.
I still do that, and I'm great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Or like Graves, he's got that little dash. You go to Varus, and you don't have anything.
That's exactly.
So you're gonna feel out of your element. So
it's funny you say that, Adam, because now I just played Maokai and other champions for support because it's my kind of champion, baby.
You'd be all right.
People who are not watching live, my eyes rolled so hard they fell out of my head and rolled across the floor. Jesus Christ.
Too bad Dom wasn't here.
Long blink.
The long blink.
On 3, we all long blink. All right, guys. So I think that's episode number 151 of the podcast. What do you guys think?
That's fine.
Wait, let me strike through so you don't yell at me here. Bam. All right, we're good. All right.
So, guys, I appreciate you listening to episode number 151 of the podcast. Hopefully, that didn't end too abruptly. We hope to see you at PAX East. Please write in if you go to PAX East and you find Mott and send us pictures. Like, if you get a picture taken with Mott on your cell phone, tweet it, Facebook it.
That would be awesome.
Send
pictures, testimonials, anything. We love it.
We want to see
the
pictures.
I wish I could have gone too.
I know.
To see you guys, but
now we're being invited to Summoners Con. I feel like we should be going.
I really want to go to that.
I know, but I'm so poor.
I got so much shit going on.
That's why I told Dom. Dom's like, we gotta go. I said, Dom, it's in November. I don't even know if I would be living in Kentucky in November.
Right.
I could be living in LA for all I know.
The amount of money I'm not gonna have in November is just staring me dead in the face, and I'm really sad about it.
I think we should end this podcast on Twitch.
Trick 2G is on
Where is she? Look at her. She's so cute.
There she
Twitch
is.
on Twitch.
Twitch on Twitch.
There's no...
Look at her. She's adorable. If I pull it. Hey, look.
All right, guys. That was episode number 151. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We'll see you all next week.
See ya.
All right. Bye, guys.